Hi. It's raining red. It's raining. It's raining red. It's raining. I think in this version she's like, it's raining red. I think she sings it in this version. Of course, the theatrical, I think she's just like saying, it's raining red. And of course I'm referring to Halloween, the curse of Michael Myers. I don't think but on the actual movie it says Halloween 6, the curse of Michael Myers. Hi, I'm huge movie fanatic Nate, coming at you in the cold, miserable month of, I'm kind of a spring and summer guy myself, so the cold, miserable, it's not wet, I was going to say wet, but it's not wet, the cold, miserable, dry month of October, coming at you with the review of a relatively recently released Blu-ray of Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers, unrated producer's cut. Now, this is something that I've been very interested in seeing for quite a while. I heard about the producer's cut quite a while ago, and obviously back in the day, maybe the single digits of the early 2000s or whatever. Obviously there's probably all these, horrible quality bootleg DVDs, VHS available, all this stuff. I never bothered, I was never, as the years go on and on, I become less and less so much of a Halloween fan. I mean, as the years go on, I like the first 3, yes, even 3. As the years go on, I care less and less about Halloween movies after 3. It's just like 1 and 2 is cool, 3 is, cool and stupid for nostalgic reasons and Tom Atkin reasons and just Alan Howarth, different John Carpenter, just goofy early 80s score and all this stuff, and of course the, whatever. So what I'm saying is I never cared enough to seek out, and especially just in crappy quality, I never cared enough to seek out the producer's cut of Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. I knew it existed forever. I'm pretty sure it was last year for the very first time. Shout Factory and Anchor Bay, I think, worked together and actually put out the definitive, collection up until this point, until I think Halloween, what's it called, Returns, I think is the title of the next Halloween movie. I mean, no shit, it comes every year, but whatever. That should be the tagline for Halloween Returns. It happens every year. And then be like, ... duh. But anyway, that's another topic. But last year, the complete Blu-ray collection, definitive, of the Halloween franchise up until this point came out. And there was 2 versions. There was a cheaper version, then like a deluxe version. And the deluxe version you had to buy is the only version of the 2 that included a Blu-ray of the producer's cut of Halloween. Might as well just call it Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. And part of me was like, I didn't want the collection, but I wanted the Blu-ray of Halloween, the producer's cut, Curse of Michael Myers. I did that backwards dyslexically. And I'm like, you know what? My better sense as the weeks went on said, you know what? I'm not going to pay whatever, upwards of $100 for this collection, which I don't even want, just to see a slightly different version of this kind of a lackluster Halloween movie. So luckily, common sense prevailed last year, and I didn't bother getting the collection to just simply see. Might have been over $100 for the deluxe version of the collection, just to see the producer's cut in decent quality, of Halloween 6. So, much to my happiness, as the fall approached this year on Amazon.com or Blu-ray.com, as some of you longtime viewers will know, I pretty much go there every day just to see what the latest headlines are and, latest sales on Blu-rays and stuff like that. They have on the top, if you go to Blu-ray.com, like the current, most recent, sales, temporary sales and all this kind of stuff, but also news regarding Blu-ray releases and theatrical releases of films. And I was very happy to see, as the summer winded down, I'm more of a spring and summer guy, that there was going to be a standalone Blu-ray release, which of course this is, God, I'm going on and on, of Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers producer's cut. So I'm like, hell yeah, without swearing, and actually in my mind, like I just swear it out loud, hell yeah, I'm such a genius for not wasting, upwards or more than $100 on this collection just to see this. And not only that, but it was like $9, it was like $10, I think. So, right around the time it came out, I ordered it on, not to plug Amazon.com, but that's where I get a lot of my, actually now that Best Buy and crap, I mean, unless it's a big blockbuster or something, you're not going to find anything at Target or Best Buy anymore. So pretty much, unless it's just some big blockbuster or something, I get all the, like Blu-rays like this and just obscure shit or whatever on Amazon.com. So I got it and was kind of excited to put it in, just, not knowing what the hell. Anyway, long story short, let's get on to the review of, I guess it's a review of basically Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers producer's cut. Now, kind of disappointed with, like, I don't know, I guess kind of since like it's a work print or whatever, I guess, I don't know, is like the, it seems like the sound effects aren't finished and all that kind of stuff. I don't know all the history surrounding this particular title, but I mean, obviously, I don't know, it seems like the music is temp music, which very well may be the case from previous Halloweens or whatever. I'm not sure about that, but obviously, having only experienced the theatrical cut, I kind of got used to the music and effects and all that. I mean, effects being sound kind of stings and sound musical enhancements of whatever. And I guess I kind of felt like, like the, what is it, like Alan Howarth music in this movie, which I don't, like I say, I don't know if it's just like music from other Halloween movies 4 and 5 or whatever, but I don't know. First off, I was really excited to hear, because in the theatrical version it's Paul Rudd, as I had mentioned before in our me and Matt's Halloween 6 review that we did whenever we did it, probably 2011 or probably 2011, the fall of, when there's a push in, on the baby being painted by the whatever, the cult member, whatever, that Paul Rudd does like the monologue of when Michael Myers was 6 years old, and I was just like, whatever, obviously when you're seeing it for the first time in the theater, which should be noted, I don't know if I mentioned it in the review we did back then, but I did see this with an acquaintance in the theater in 95, so, because I'd seen with my dad, Halloween 5 was the first Halloween I'd seen in the theater, in 89, of course, when I saw this, and of course, it's Paul Rudd's first movie, and you don't know who the hell's voice that is. What I'm trying to say very long-windedly is I was very excited right off the bat to hear Paul Rudd's monologue replaced by, I don't know why they replaced it with Paul Rudd's, when the amazing, infamous Donald Pleasance in the producer's cut does the opening monologue, which I thought was much more cool. I got goosebumps when it was like the push-in on that shot, the same shot, and it's like, when Michael Myers was 6 years old, he murdered his sister with a knife. And I was like, why the hell did they ever replace it with Paul Rudd's voice? It makes no sense to me. Obviously I can't remember all of the changes. I'm not going to do beat by beat, but with the exception, that might have been like the coolest thing that's different. I don't know if I'm joking or if that's real. That's one of the coolest things about the producer's cut. I was under the impression that, a lot of fans, obviously it's divided like anything else is, but I was under the impression that the producer's cut was supposed to be a better film than the theatrical cut, and unfortunately, like, I don't know if I can really agree with that. A lot of the kills are actually, obviously this is probably the first version of many kills, and a lot of the kills are, especially like, well, Jamie Lloyd actually lives through, like, into half the movie, and kind of like a la Halloween 2, the first Halloween 2, kind of like Jamie Lee Curtis, ironically, just sits in a hospital bed the whole movie, Halloween 2. Jamie Lloyd survives, is originally just stabbed by Michael with a knife in the barn or whatever, and lives throughout, like, into half of the movie, and is later, like, shot in the hospital bed by, the guy with the boots or whatever. But, so long story short, Jamie Lloyd's kill was much better, in the theatrical redone with kind of this thrown onto the farm equipment and then turned on and, like, and the asshole realtor's death was like the head explode. I think the only thing that was different was they added the head explosion in theatrical. But anyway, long story short, gosh, I really just rambled about all kinds of stuff. But It's very interesting. It's very cool to actually see a movie that's, you know, a kind of a work print version or an alternate version of such an obscure movie in such pristine like video quality, like image quality, which is really a real treat. And to see just little different things and this and that that they took out. I mean, a lot of the stuff, I wonder, you know, they cut down some of Donald Pleasance's screen time in the first scene when, you know, that cultist you don't know at the time, but who turns out to be the cultist, like the boot-wearing cultist, you know, cult leader guy visits Donald Pleasance at the beginning. They cut dialogue out. Like, why would you cut dialogue from this like guy who's like, you know, I think died before the movie came out? Why would you cut any of his stuff? Especially because, I mean, just to hear, it doesn't matter what he said. I just want to hear him talk because it's Donald Pleasance. So it was very cool to see there's extra, I mean, there's more Donald Pleasance talking in this. It's just, that was cool. But like I say, I mean, you know, when they say unrated producer's cut, it kind of makes it sound like it's going to be more gory, but it's actually less gory. Like the kills, alternate versions of the kills are just, in my opinion, just lamer than they are in the, you know, theatrical cut, which the producers must have probably had them go back and redo or something. Maybe they filmed different. I don't know. I don't know all the history about it. You know, I'm more of a Friday 13th fan than Halloween. You know, franchise. There we go, franchise fan. So long story short, I kind of, you know, I'm glad it was only $10 and I didn't pay over $100 to see this by getting the entire, you know, deluxe collection. But long story short, I was kind of mostly disappointed. I thought the music that is in this version, which is probably just temp music or whatever, it kind of doesn't, it just, you know, they play Laurie's theme like all the time, and it's just like, it's Laurie's theme. Why are they playing it in a movie when there's no Laurie? It's just, the temp music kind of just seems like temp music and just not really, it doesn't really belong in a lot of cases. And the music that's in the theatrical cut, I think, is much better and kind of more whatever, just maybe, not that contemporary is a good thing, but maybe just a little more contemporary for the, you know, mid-90s or whatever, you know. And like when the Michael first pushes that nurse onto that, whatever the hell it is, convenient spike sticking out of the wall, it's like, it's just this weird, like, mid-90s contemporary, you know, it's kind of cool. So, you know, that music, I don't know who did that music, but that music being gone kind of just makes this seem like almost a home movie, and just using Laurie's theme. And another thing that I thought was cool in this version, Paul Rudd explains a little more into greater detail about, like, you know, every time in the previous, he mentions, I think, every time in the previous movies, like when Halloween or when Michael killed, is like the thorn, you know, stars aligned to make the thorn symbol or whatever in 78 and then 88 and yeah, whatever, 89, I think, because he came back in 88 and 89, which I thought was cool. They cut out some exposition stuff with Paul Rudd that I thought, I don't know why they cut out, because it kind of was cool and kind of made some half-ass nonsense sense, which was kind of cool and geeky, whatever. I mean, to cut out just some of his exposition and leave some of it there was kind of dumb, so you might as well just leave it all. But, you know, obviously the ending of any version of Halloween 6 is lame, and I thought that the ending of this might be better, but I actually prefer the one personally where Michael just goes in. This doesn't have any of that Michael going in and, you know, taking this long machete, like whatever the hell it is, machete surgical tool, I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be, but, and slicing up all these cultists. I kind of like that because it's just this massacre scene. And obviously the theatrical cut has that cool chase in the underground, or that tunnel thing where at one point in the background Michael can be seen like jogging, which when me and an acquaintance saw it in the theater were like, oh man, Michael's running, man. And that scene was really cool. And none of that stuff, of course, well, it's not really of course, but unfortunately isn't in the scene or in this version. And it's more just like at the end, it's more of the cultist scene where Michael's like just standing there controlled by the cultists and shit. And to be honest, I can't even remember really necessarily how it ends. I know that Loomis goes in and sees Michael, presumably Michael, laying there on the ground, takes off the mask, and it's his cult, you know, buddy, former buddy, cult leader guy dead, and Michael walking away in the shadows in the trench coat and hat and shit. and Loomis looks at his wrist and just magically Thorn symbol appears, and that's what originally, at the end of the theatrical cut, it's just like, that's where they took the audio from that, of him looking at the Thorn symbol appearing on his wrist, and that's what causes him to go, no, so $10, take it or leave it. I mean, it's interesting, God, this review probably went on forever, to see the variations, and as a fan of I'm not really so much a Halloween movie fan anymore, but as a former, more or less hardcore Halloween movie fan, it was interesting to see, and I'm glad I did. Pick it up if you'd like on Amazon.com for like $10 or something like that. Not, it didn't improve the movie. I was, like I said, I was under the impression Producer's Cut was better, but, in my opinion, it's not. Some of the kills are just lamer and whatever. It's definitely interesting to see the, two different, just an alternate version. And like I say, seeing more, dialogue with Donald Pleasance was appreciated. And it was just stupid because I think before the movie came out, he was dead. And it was just to cut out stuff, when this is last performance, just stupid. And plus, yeah, it wasn't even a lot of stuff they cut out, so it didn't save a lot of time. It was just stupid. So anyway, thank you very much. If you made it all the way to the end of this review, it went on a lot longer than it was supposed to. I just ramble on and on. But that is my review of basically the producer's cut of Halloween 6. Might as well just call it Halloween 6. And it's so funny. It says the unrated producer's cut features nearly 70 minutes of unedited footage. I hate when they use the word unedited. They should say uncut. Unedited means, like, in my opinion, just raw dailies with like the slates and beat for it. Like, take one, that's unedited. Uncut, they use the wrong word. But Lionsgate put out this version, which of course is on Blu-ray, and it says 5.1, but I didn't watch it on the surround system. But I mean, with just like I can't imagine a 5.1 is much good with that just half-assed, like, I don't even think, all the sound effects I don't think the sound is really even complete. I mean, obviously it's not as complete as the theatrical cut version. So anyway, check it out if you want. Maybe it's on YouTube, I don't know. But it's really not, I wouldn't recommend the producer's cut. I was kind of whatever. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.